Is getting national attention for a book he wrote about his father-in-law, a World War II veteran. I'm Belinda Post today in for Nicole Gay.
And I'm Kelly Miller in for Russ McCaskey. J. Robert Gould's book is titled The Last of the Greatest Generation. It focuses on his father-in-law, who is a World War II veteran. Wink News anchor Emma Heaton sat down with the author to talk about the meaning behind his book.
One day, the millions of Americans that served in uniform during World War II will perish. Their stories, the secrets they were willing to share, will only come from history.
When we came up to start writing that, a story kind of popped in my head about a what if scenario in the last of the greatest generation. We know at some point in time there's going to be a last World War II veteran.
J. Robert Gould told me he never took for granted the stories his father-in-law, John Abplanalp, known as Papa John, a World War II veteran, lived to tell. Papa John served on the USS Ticonderoga, and while he passed at 96 years old, his stories, secrets, will forever be documented. Right here in Gould's book, The Last of the Greatest Generation.
I think what people will get out of it is just how humble these people were, those that served in World War II, and what they contributed, and the fact that they felt compelled to tell their story ultimately, although many, tried to not say anything and keep it secret because they didn't want to make a big deal about it. But ultimately, if you ask them questions about it and generally interested in hearing their stories, you'll be amazed at just the valor and how much they contributed to the freedom that we have today.
Gould took pen to paper, told Papa John's stories.
He was 17 when he joined the Navy, and on the ship, the Ticonderoga, in January of '45, it was hit by kamikazes. He ended up having to be sealed in a compartment, if you can believe this, on the 7th deck, while the decks above him were being flooded because that's where the munitions were. And ultimately, if that didn't get put out, the ship would explode.
While Gould said there are more true and unbelievable stories like that you'll find in his book, the story itself is fiction.
I really like that you added that fictional element. Could you tell me why you did that specifically?
Well, there were some storylines that I wanted to put in there, romantic storylines. There's a lot of texture in Fort Myers. In other words, there are places in Fort Myers that people will recognize when they read the book, those that live here, that kind of bring to light the city. And I wanted to kind of embellish the character a little bit, so there was some need to kind of touch on the fiction.
I asked Gould if Papa John ever got the chance to read the pages before he took his final breath.
Fortunately, he was able to read the first chapter before he passed, and he kind of nodded his head and said, yeah, that's exactly what happened.
A beautiful tribute to Papa John, if there ever was one. Emma Heaton, Wink News.
And full disclosure, Gould is married to one of our longtime sales employees here at Wink. Now you can buy The Last of the Greatest Generation in all of your local bookstores. Part of the proceeds will be donated to the Hearts and Homes for Veterans nonprofit to help veterans in need.